Thank you all for being here. Before we begin, before we start, all of us at the Twin Cities Trumpet Ensemble felt that it would be appropriate to pause for a moment and reflect on the terrible unfolding events in Ukraine and to express our collective outrage at the unlawful invasion of the sovereign state. We will do this through the playing of the Ukrainian national anthem, which in our version begins with a single trumpet player representing a country at first standing alone, but iron-willed, clear of mind, determined and resolved to be quickly joined by more and more forces as the peace progresses, building to a climax of strength, unity, and defiance supported by countries the world over. So we invite you to listen and stand, if you would, to the Ukrainian national anthem.
Thank you.
Well, that was the second time that piece has ever been played. It's a fanfare that was written for us by Paul Murtha, and we call it the signature fanfare, and it will become the beginning piece of every one of our concerts because folks come to a trumpet ensemble concert and they expect to hear trumpets like that. Well, in a concert that we're going to give you, it's going to be a lot of variety. Some classical things, some fun things too. But we're going to open up with a standard orchestra piece called Procession of the Nobles. It's by Rimsky-Korsakov, and it's from an opera that never did very well. But this piece is in it, and it did. So anyway, we hope you enjoy our version of Procession of the Nobles. Well, as promised, I'm going to twist your head around a little bit. We're going to go do something that you wouldn't expect from a group like this. We're going to do something from the Renaissance. Do a little Gabrielli. Giovanni Gabrielli was an organist, and he was the chief musician at a church in Venice, St. Mark. And in St. Mark is a huge place, and it has balconies along both sides. And he would put musicians here, and musicians here, and musicians here. And when they played together or separately to the congregation, it was like the very heavens were coming down. It was beautiful sound. So while we're not in St. Mark's, but we'll still play one of his most beautiful pieces, written in I think 1597, and it's the Canzona Septimi in Octavi Toni.
Yeah. Not 12.
Not 12. Thank you. Boy, what great stuff. Well, I don't know how many of you have seen this, looked closely at the instruments we have up here, but we don't have just B-flat trumpets. We have all sorts of things that maybe some of you may have never seen before. While they get set up, we use these instruments, different instruments, because they have different tonal color, and it changes the way that the ensemble sounds. And we're going to demonstrate some of these instruments for you. Okay, let's see. Go ahead, let's start with the pick. All right?
I got you.
This is a piccolo trumpet, and it's 1/2 the size of a regular B-flat trumpet. So, okay, so you can hear it's a much smaller quality, a little bit thinner, but still a beautiful sound. Then we have E flat trumpets. They're a fourth higher than the B flats, and E flat trumpet sounds like this. Whoa. Now, that's compared to a regular B flat trumpet, which sounds like this. Okay, but now there are some instruments that are lower than the B flat, and although it's in the same pitch, it sounds darker. We're talking about a flugelhorn. And who's got the flugelhorn? Okay, there's the flugelhorn. You can show it sideways so they can see the difference in the way this is wrapped. So it's conical rather than cylindrical, and it has a sound like this. Now, there's an instrument here that is really a rare instrument. Ron Hasselman is playing it. Let's see, Ron, hold up the instrument. Where are you? There it is. See it over here. It's an F alto. Oop, hello. That's an A flat. An F alto trumpet, and it sounds like this. And then there's a helicopter that sounds, although it's an airplane. What pitch is that in, guys?
A minor.
No, it sounds like E flat. Anyway, okay. So we've seen the alto trumpet. Now, here's an instrument that you may not have seen before. It's called a bass trumpet, and that's twice the size of a regular B flat. I'm going to go ahead and give us a little taste. It's a gorgeous instrument. So, we're going to play for you now a hymn. It is Well with My Soul, but we use those instruments. But just to give you a taste of what difference those instruments make, I'm going to ask some of the guys to play the first part of this, starting with number 5, of what it sounds like if you use just B flat trumpets. Now we're going to play the entire piece for you with the instrumentation of those special instruments that we just showed you, and you'll hear the difference in the color. This particular piece is one of the favorite pieces of a colleague of ours who died a couple of months ago, and we'd like to dedicate this performance to the memory of Scott McCullough. Okay, we're going to go back to the classic area. Hold on. (1886) to be exact, and a fellow named Franz von Suppe wrote a light opera called the Light Cavalry Overture, and it never became another one of those that was everybody listened to and then sort of shelved. But the overture has survived and has become one of the most famous of summer fare for orchestras. Now, this is a kind of the story in Light Cavalry, I'm not quite so sure of, but sure as the heck the overture doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. It starts out with a fanfare, and then the music about the crowd, and all of a sudden horses come ripping through the town. And then they stop, and then there's some lady that's pining for her lover, and then the horses come back the other way. Doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes for music that's a heck of a lot of fun. So we thought that we'd play for you our version of Light Cavalry Overture. It's been written for us by Mike Serber, and this is the original composer, Franz von Suppe. fun stuff. Okay, we're going to twist things around a little bit more and play a piece for you that is very clever. It's called Cornet Carillon, and it has, it sounds like bells. It's the only way I can describe it. It's very, very cleverly written. It's for 7 trumpets, and you'll hear all the bells. Cornet Carillon. Oh. Yeah, have to say the composers. Philip Bliss. Okay. Cornet Carillon. Okay. Now we're going to turn you around again. Some of you were around in the 50s when there was a movie called Bridge on the River Kwai. And in that movie made a particular tune famous. It's called Colonel Bogey. And it was written by a composer named Alfred. And he was in the service, and he had a colonel who played golf with him. This is a true story. And he dedicated this particular march to the colonel, who was a lousy golfer. Colonel Bogey. That's where the name came from. But Malcolm Arnold made this piece famous, did a wonderful arrangement of it. It was used as a principal theme in Bridge on the River Kwai. And those of you who may remember, the soldiers would march back and forth from the work at the prisoner of war camp, whistling this particular piece. Well, we're going to play Colonel Bogey for you, but we're not going to whistle. We're going to use the world's smallest trumpet in its place, the mouthpiece. So let's see, you want to go ahead and let's tune up the mouthpieces, guys. So here is our version of Colonel Bogey. Well, you won't hear that very often. What fun, what fun. Well, we're going to turn the tables on you again, and we're going to go after the Beatles. We have an extensive array of tunes in this particular arrangement, but tonight we decided to just play two of them. I won't say what they are, and imagine Mr. Stamp in the back will be able to tell us which ones they are with no problem at all. Okay, so here is Mike Serber's Beatles medley. Whoa, is it Hoffman? Whoa, my mistake. Ed Hoffman, who did this arrangement for us. He was former co-principal trumpet in the Baltimore Symphony, now lives here in the area and is ordinarily part of the ensemble. Anyway, he's written some wonderful stuff for us. This is one of them. So here it is, our two tunes of the Beatles. Okay. Now we'll take you back to 1911 and Gustav Holst and his famous second suite in F for military band. This is one of the movements in that suite. It's a very famous piece. It's called Song of the Blacksmith. And who did the arrangement? Another one by Ed Hoffman. So here's Song of the Blacksmith. Thank you. Now we're going to do a little bit of Americana for you. This is a very famous, probably one of our most famous folk songs, called Shenandoah. And it has many lyrics to it. We're not going to sing it, we're going to play it. It's a beautiful, beautiful arrangement of a beautiful, beautiful tune. This is our version of Shenandoah. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna talk to you.
Huh?
I'm gonna talk.
Huh?
He's gonna talk.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to bring up to the microphone the president of our board of directors, Mr. Alex Kaler.
I'm a little shorter than Jim, so let me fix this. I just want to welcome you all tonight and thank you for being here. As Jim said, I have the lucky opportunity to serve as our president of our board of directors. We do have a group that can organize 24 trumpets and a few extras. It's quite something. We are only in our 5th year of being a nonprofit organization, fully formed, but we have a lot more years under our belt as players, as you might imagine. And one of the really unique opportunities that we have here is to meet the other players in the Twin Cities area, top trumpet players. The 24 regular players and our first call subs make up some of the most sought after freelance and amateur trumpet players in the Twin Cities metro area, as well as a few retired professionals and a couple active professionals. And what you might not think of as being the first thing we might say to each other when we first met is, hey, I've heard of you. We all have spent years filling in for each other, being calls for each other, and hearing about one another, but we finally got to come together and make music together and learn about each other and learn from each other, and it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's so unique for a group like this to exist full time. So if you'd like to learn more about us, you can visit us on the web at tctrumpets.org, and we have our full schedule there. We have a wonderful formal concert coming up in November down in Bloomington, Minnesota at the Ives Theater down there at the Masonic Heritage Center. And you can catch us at several other venues throughout the year as well, so please do so. As well as on Facebook. You can find us if you search us on Facebook. And I'll just lastly leave you with, over here we have a table set up. Nicholas, could you come up here with a CD, please? We have a table set up with some information for you if you'd like to take it along with, as well as our inaugural CD, which got us through COVID in 2020. We were able to actually record our first CD while we were locked down using some virtual technology. So if you'd like to hear some of our best and brightest on pieces, that's over here for sale at a discount tonight for you for buying it in person. Nicholas will happily sell them to you. And if we're a little too loud for you, or you're worried about being too close to trumpets, we've got some TCTE branded earplugs that you can take home with you as well. So visit the table, learn some more about us. We'd love to see you elsewhere in the future. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Okay, we're coming down to the final stretch of our concert this evening, and we couldn't get away without playing probably the most famous of all pieces for trumpet ensemble, or for 3 trumpets anyway, and that's Bugler's Holiday by Leroy Anderson. This arrangement, though, that we've done is by David Hickman, emancipates us from having to play with orchestra or band or piano. The whole thing is self-contained in 12 trumpet parts. So we'd like to play for you the most famous of them all, Bugler's Holiday. Okay, we're just gonna celebrate. The little tune translated is to let us celebrate, just playing for an audience, back playing out in public again after all that pandemic stuff. Just a sheer joy of playing for people who like to listen. Thank you for being here so much. So this is dedicated to you all. It's if you would recognize the Hebrew of let us celebrate, it's called Hava Nagila.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it is a celebration. Thank you all so much for being here. We have one more tune for you, and it's the usual closer for summer bands, summer groups, because it's such an amazing piece, celebration of America. This is Stars and Stripes Forever, and written for us by Mike Serber. And that's how we'll close the show. Thank you again so much for being here. We hope that you enjoyed the wide variety of stuff that we've given you this evening. So thank you again, and here is Stars and Stripes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the party boys.